Narrative essays. We're back here on our college writing resource, Purdue OWL, owl.purdue.com. You should come here for all of your writing needs. Narrative essays are a lot like the descriptive essay we just wrote. The difference being the descriptive essay was an assignment where you picked a topic and you described it. That's all. For the entire essay, you were describing something. This essay will be written in a similar style, that first person kind of informal tone, but the difference will be in a narrative essay, you are describing a story or an event from beginning to end. So unlike the descriptive essay, this paper will have a beginning, middle, and end. Oh, it should have a purpose. Think of this as the thesis of this paper, the point of your story. What value are you offering to a reader by telling this story? Are you offering an important life lesson that you learned that you're sharing? Are you invoking a feeling or mood in the person reading your story? You should have a clear purpose. And most people, high school or college, and I'm guilty of doing the same thing, most people have a go-to experience that they always write about for assignments like this. Whenever you're tasked with writing a narrative, be it for a college paper or a job interview question, explain a time where you overcame adversity. And we all will write the story about how we fell off our bike and then got back on. For this assignment, I challenge you to choose a moment in your life that you have not written about before, or choose something that wasn't necessarily a defining, life-changing moment in your life, but write about it like it matters. Because when you write about things like they matter, then they matter. Narrative writing is not as much about the story as it is about the way you tell it. You'll continue to work on developing your own personal style in here. Use interesting styles and conventions. Language should be carefully, particularly, and artfully chosen. Use specific language to evoke specific emotions and senses in the reader. So think about all the different styles and conventions you've learned about. Think about all the new vocabulary you've learned about. Use interesting punctuation. Word choice. Never use the same word twice if you can help it. I don't mean words like the and, but words like large. You shouldn't use the word large more than once, or even once if you can help it. Look up synonyms. So words that are different but have similar meaning. So gargantuan, gigantic, humongous. Change it up as much as you can. Can you use the first person I in here? It should be written from your perspective. And make it awesome. Don't use the same topic you use for your photo memoir. Pick something fresh and new. Challenge yourself to take a moment out of your life that might not be, like I said, like a very life-changing, defining moment to somebody else. Show us how it was defining for you. Okay? So we're going to go to our narrative demo. Times New Roman 12. You're going to put your first name, your instructor's name, the class, and the date. So this isn't just my preference, remember. This is the MLA 8 standard format. So your name, instructor's name, class, and date. So if you're going to write papers in college, that'll be the expectation, the left-hand side, in this order. So it'll just help to get used to writing it now. Cool title goes here. We're not sure what this is yet, but it'll come to us. I like to start all my papers by making an outline. Well, this narrative is going to be about going to college. And when I'm doing an outline, I just make a rough list of what I'm going to include in my paper. So I'll write something like first paragraph, and then I'll list out all the things that are going to go in the first paragraph. So I'll start with an attention getter sentence, maybe some context about the college, like where it is, what it looks like, other people there, what they look like, how big is the campus, parking. And then after I put all this in one paragraph because it all relates, and then I go to the next paragraph when I'm talking about like completely different things. For our second paragraph, plus we'll have like a transition sentence to the next paragraph. Transition sentences in here, since this is going to be another informal kind of essay, you're not going to use transitions like moreover, furthermore, first, second, third. Your transition sentence will probably just be something that makes it clear you're finished talking about what's in this paragraph and you're moving on to another topic. I'll show it in this demo. Next paragraph, talking about completely different things like my program. Professors, English professors. My cohort, which is the group of kids I went to school with. I already talked about parking. Food. Lead up to conflict. Too much homework or something. Working and going to school at the same time. I think then that'll be a good place to transition to the third paragraph. And third paragraph. Could talk about classmates, writing a lot, student teaching maybe, mentors, climax of my conflict, which I'm not sure what it is yet, maybe overwhelmed, fourth. Mentor teacher of student teaching, cohort, and their schools they're working at. EdTPA, which was a big test I had to take. Final exams. Fifth paragraph. Oops. Transition. Fifth paragraph. Maybe a peak of climax. So this is where the struggle would be at its peak. Graduation approaches. Struggling to get ready for our big test we have to take. Sixth paragraph. Resolution begins. I don't know, graduation approaches, passing a TPA, woo! And then transition between here and final paragraph, resolution, everything works out, valuable lessons about everything, about something, I'm not sure yet, something. Okay, so your outline can be as detailed or as rough, and opposite of detailed, as simple as you need it to be. So the way I write that works the best for me is I like to write a very, very rough outline. This is almost just like my brainstorming process, where I just list out first, second, third, fourth, fifth paragraph, etc., and then write little bullet points, under each one, explaining in a couple words what I expect to put in that paragraph. So this is just me planning out a little map. My paper very well and often does not come out looking like my outline says it's going to look like. But this, now that I listed all this out, I have an idea in my head of where my paper is going to start, where it's going, and where I want it to end. This is also can be a longer, more frustrating way to write because this outline is so rough. You will find that as you write, you're going to see that things are not in a logical order and you're going to have to move them around. You might write up a whole page and have to delete it because it's not going to work with your bigger plan you want to do. The more detailed you make your outline, the less organizational problems you'll run into. So that's up to you. If it'll help, you can branch this out and for each paragraph, write a longer plan of what's going to go in that paragraph. So then when you actually start drafting, it won't take you as long. I'm not really sure what's going to be in this paper until I write it out. I write as part of, I guess what I'm trying to say is I plan my paper as part of the writing process. So we got kind of an idea what our paper is going to be about. This is going to be about a narrative paper about my college experience and what I learned from it. We got a space for our cool title. Enter. And done. Okay, we're ready. So the first thing I need is a cool attention getter. So I want to write something about where the school is located. But something interesting. I'm going to say surrounded by golden ears of corn and not much else. Yeah. This is so weird. Castle-esque. No. Surrounded by golden ears of corn and not much else, Northern Illinois University. A castle-esque structure we're just going to offset this with some dashes so I don't have to put more commas. Spans across the entire Does that make sense? Castle structure spans across the city of DeKalb, Illinois. Okay, so this is going to be my attention getter. We might put a better one there, but I think this is okay for now. What else do we want to put in our first paragraph? Context about the college, where it is. All right. Originally a teaching school, which is true. NIU was originally a school for teachers when it was first founded a million years ago. Aspiring. I think that's spelled right. Aspiring. There we go. Educators like me have flocked to rural Illinois to study in their content areas. This just kind of grabs the attention of the reader, explains what we're talking about, the school in DeKalb, Illinois, which was originally a teaching school, and what it has to do with me as a aspiring educator. So we did all that in just 2 sentences. Okay, I'm just gonna expand this out a little bit. But it's not just educators anymore. NIU has made millionaires. Whose monetary contributions built Barsima Hall, the most magnificent building on the campus. Which is true. If you've ever been to Barsima Hall, you know what I'm talking about. It's walking into Barsima Hall feels like walking into a grand ballroom with golden pillars and vaulted ceilings. The classrooms there are high-tech. That one word? Looks like it. High-tech. I'm not sure. Its students sit in comfy, cushy, comfy? But I never spent much time there. Although originally a teaching school, the College of Liberal Arts leaves a lot to be desired. That's the truth. Alright, so my last sentence here, this is going to be the last sentence of the paragraph, but I never spent time there. Although originally a teaching school, the College of Liberal Arts leaves a lot to be desired. So I think this sentence shows that now I'm going to be talking about the School of Liberal Arts. In Revis Hall, transition, an English building, our ceilings are not vaulted. So kind of showing them how this connects to me telling the story. They are low and leaking. The doors are all heavy and metal and painted maroon. The walls are made of cement. Most classrooms are without windows, like dungeons. Our desks are made of metal and plastic. You know the kind that the tabletops are attached to the chairs, just like in our classroom. Tops of them are so small they will not accommodate a book and a laptop at the same time. Oops, spelling. Accommodate. You know what I'm saying? You can only put one or the other on there. What else? We're still kind of talking about describing the college, what it looks like. And then this ended up kind of being the first and second paragraph. And then this is going to be the third paragraph. That's okay though. Cafes with coffee and food stands all over the place. Revis has vending machines that almost never work. Always out of order. I put this in italics because this is what the sign says. You could put it in quotes, but since I'm telling a story and this is something that's written, I think italics is a nice way to do it. But Revis Hall does have the lounge. The lounge, as we call it. I am not sure who founded this room in the name of education majors. Pedagogy means teaching theory sign on the door that says I'll go back later and make sure that's all punctuated correctly. So, forgive me if I made some mistakes in here. This is only the first draft though, so give me a break. So just going through, setting the scene for our story. So, a little background on the college, where it is, what it looks like, how it relates to me, how I wanted to be a teacher, the English building, and how it's not all glamorous like the business building is. And then our little student teacher lounge, where we're not really sure where it came from. It just kind of magically appeared. This is important to the story because it was here, my cohort, which is, so speaking of cohort, I'm going to explain what this is. Remember, if you use any jargon or maybe technical terms that only you know what they mean and your reader might not know what they mean, make sure you spell those out. Know your audience, you know what I mean? Well, my cohort or other future potential teachers who are in my same subject area have spent many hours studying or sleeping. Yeah, or sleeping on a decaying, old, burnt orange. You know the color burnt orange? Colored couch. Oops. Its origin, like everything else in the room, unknown. Corn is short for Cornelius, and he does spell it with a K. Real name, my buddy Corn. Well, as you write, or there's really two ways. So you can either just continue to write out your entire paper from beginning to end and don't think too much about mistakes or word choice or tense and just kind of let it happen and then go back and rewrite. When I write it, part of my process is to rewrite as I go. So even as I'm writing this, I'm thinking in my head, continue to go. That's such a boring way to say we continue to go to class. It doesn't really paint a picture. So I would just stop mid-sentence and change this to something like persevered. Spelling. Spelled right. So Talia, Shannon, Corn, and I persevered to our 8 a.m. American short story class and our usual stay of perpetual exhaustion, and then we slept on the gross orange couch in the hours between this class and the next. So this is, while the story about going to NIU, about me going to NIU and studying for English and doing all these normal, mundane, routine school things, doesn't sound like it would be a very interesting paper to read about. And it could be a really boring paper, but I'm trying to use my language and my word choice, and I'm trying to reflect what this experience means to me. So hopefully somebody will read it and feel some of the emotions that I felt and that I'm trying to, what's it called? Like, it'll elicit a response from somebody reading it. So this is me taking my boring, mundane experiences and trying to make them matter and writing about them like they matter, because to me they do matter. Okay, so we slept on this couch in the hours between this class and the next. True story. Transition. Next, we're going to talk about what. So, kind of covered some other people in our program. How big is the campus? We kind of like skipped this, but it's okay. Talk about English a little bit, my cohort. We gotta lead up to the conflict. And then some of this stuff maybe. And now I feel like my paper isn't really going in this direction, but we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna, it's just the beginning. Hopefully, it's like how I say your conclusion should be some kind of contextualization of what you learned, or leave the reader thinking about something important. So a lot of the times you don't know what that important thing is until you get to the end of your paper. And then hopefully by then I'll have some profound realization of something I learned, and I'll share that at the end. Well, now we're going to talk about, I don't know if I should say our or mine. I'll just say our. I'm going to talk a little bit about how, what English program is like, and what me and my cohort, my buds in there, kind of went through. Beginning of the college semester, there's never anywhere to park because everyone is still full of hope. Everyone is still full of hope and motivation. Towards the middle, I would say, yeah, towards the middle of the semester, student, I want to say, I already said towards the middle of the semester. So let's say if school starts in like September, August, November. around the month of February. In the fall, around the month of February, students start to drop off. I'm going to say drop out because that makes it sound like they quit entirely. Start to disappear. The number of students begins to dwindle. What do I say? Many coming to class less frequently, late, and then not at all. So it's true. It really is true. Towards the middle, there's a lot of places to park again. And if you're going to be 20 minutes late to class or more, just don't go because everyone judges you when you walk in 20 minutes late. I know I'm scared to walk into class 20 minutes late. You know, I feel like you have to have a lot of audacity to do that. But then, I mean, I have gone to class 20 minutes late before, but only on really important days. What else? Teaching any